You're watching Major League Baseball's virtual network. I'm Nicholas Callis. These are your game recaps, standing updates, and league leaders from Saturday, June the 20th, 2020. AL East baseball between the Rays and the Orioles. 2-1 was the final score. This game went 13 innings. Not only that, the Orioles out-hit the Rays 12-4. But the Orioles committed 3 errors in this game. The Rays were able to take the lead in the top of the 13th, and they held on in the bottom of the 13th to pull out a victory. Diego Castillo got the win, Sean Armstrong got the loss, and Nick Anderson earned his 22nd save of the season. The White Sox and Indians played each other, a close game. 1-0 was the final score, and no team scored until the bottom of the 9th inning when the Indians got 1 run on 1 hit, and they walked it off. The White Sox got no runs on 3 hits and committed an error. Phil Maton got the win, and Gio Gonzalez got the loss. The Twins beat the Yankees 6-5, and they won in the bottom of the 9th inning on a walk-off. Aroldis Chapman had the opportunity to save the game, but not only did he give up some runs, he blew the save. The Twins won 6-5. Tyler Duffy got the win, and Aroldis Chapman got the loss. The Royals and Mariners played each other, a close game, 8-7. The final score, and a couple innings had crooked numbers from both sides. The Royals put up 5 in the 3rd inning. The Mariners put up 7 in the 5th inning. Nestor Cortes Jr. got the win, Jesse Hahn got the loss, and Matt McGill earned his 18th save of the season. AL West baseball between the Astros and the Athletics, 11-4 the final score, and this is a big series. The Astros are in second in the AL West. The Athletics are first, so the Astros will gain a game on the Athletics. See, the Astros scored first. They got 2 in the 1st inning, then put up 4 in the 4th inning, also 2 in the 5th, and 3 in the 8th to accumulate all 11 of their runs. The Athletics scored in the middle of the game. They got 1 in the 4th and 3 in the 5th inning, but they fell short by 7 runs. Justin Verlander got the win, Jesus Luzardo got the loss, and Brian Abreu earned his 2nd save of the season. Another AL West matchup. The Angels beat the Rangers 4-2. The final score of this game, the Rangers scored at the bookends of this game, a run in the 1st and a run in the 9th. Meanwhile, the Angels scored a run in the 2nd, a run in the 3rd, and 2 in the 6th inning. And those runs held up. They won by 2 runs. The Rangers got 2 runs on 5 hits. The Angels got 4 runs on 4 hits. Shohei Ohtani got the win, Lance Lynn got the loss, and Hansel Robles earned his 22nd save of the season. Close game between the Giants and the Marlins, and we have a new official longest game of the season. There was a game yesterday that went 19. This game went 20 innings, and the Giants won this marathon of a game. 4-3 the final. The Giants got 16 hits as compared to the Marlins 14, but my oh my, you see there the line score not even close to being long enough for how long this game was. Sean Anderson got the win, and Brandon Kinsler got the loss. An NL East game between the Braves and the Nationals. Final score 7-3. The Nats had 2 3-run innings in this game. Meanwhile, the Braves scored no more than 1 run in each inning that they scored. They got a run in the 1st, the 7th, and the 8th innings. Steven Strasburg got the win, and Mike Soroka got the loss. Another NL East matchup, the Phillies played the Mets. 7-2 is the final score of this game. The Mets scored first. They got 2 in the bottom of the 4th inning, but then the Phillies kicked their offense on in the 6th. They tied the game with 2 runs in the 6th inning. Then they put up 2 more runs in the 7th, a run in the 8th, and 2 runs in the 9th for good measure, and they won by 5 runs. Nick Pivetta got the win, Robert Geiselman got the loss, and Adam Morgan earned his 2nd save of the year. NL Central matchup, the Cardinals blanked the Reds 12-0. The final score of this game, the Cardinals also won a lopsided game yesterday, but this one also more unique because the Reds got 12 hits, as did the Cardinals, but the Cardinals scored 12 runs on 12 hits. The Reds couldn't score a single run out of the 12 hits that they got. Jack Flaherty got the win, and Sonny Gray got the loss. Interleague play between the Blue Jays and the Pirates finished with a 3-1 score. The Blue Jays came out on top. Runs came at a premium in this game. No team scored more than 1 run in a single inning, but the Blue Jays had more 1-run innings than the Pirates did. They were able to win. Chase Anderson got the win on the mound. Stephen Brault got the loss, and Ken Giles earned his 22nd save of the year. Another interleague game. The Red Sox played the Cubs, and the Cubs came out on top 5-2. The final score of this game. The Cubs got 3 runs in the 6th inning, 2 runs in the 7th, and that helped them to win this one. The Red Sox put up runs, one in the 7th and one in the 8th, but they fell short 3. Tyler Chatwood got the win, Nathan Eovaldi got the loss, and Craig Kimbrell earned another save against his former team, his 26th total on the year. The Brewers and the Diamondbacks played each other, 6-4 the final score of this game. The Diamondbacks came out on top by 2 runs. The Brewers got a run, and they scored first in the first inning. Then the Diamondbacks took the lead in the 4th, put up 3 more runs in the 6th, and a run in the 7th. The Brewers had a crooked number put up in the 8th. They had 3 runs on the board in that half inning, but they fell short 2 runs overall. They couldn't score in the 9th inning, and they lost. Robbie Ray got the win, Eric Lauer got the loss, and Hector Rondon earned his 2nd save of the year. NL West Baseball, the Padres beat the Rockies. This was a close game, 7-6 the final score. There was just one more one-run inning put up by the Padres than the Rockies, but each team had a 3-run inning, and there were 1-run innings scattered throughout this game, but the Padres put up the go-ahead run and what is now known as the winning run in the top of the 9th inning. The Padres got 7 runs on 11 hits and committed 2 errors. The Rockies got 6 runs on 8 hits, committed no errors. Luis Perdomo got the win, Carlos Estevez got the loss, and Kirby Yates earned his 24th save of the year. The Dodgers broke their losing streak after an extra inning win, 3-2 the final score, but it was a close game. The Tigers had the lead going into the bottom of the 8th inning, but the Dodgers tied the game at 2. Nobody scored in the 9th, which sent the game to extras. Nobody scored in the 10th, and then the Dodgers walked it off in the 11th. Dylan Floro got the win, and Soto got the loss. Looking at standings now, starting in the American League East, the New York Yankees still at the top. They're 45-32, but they've lost 2 games in a row now, both to the Twins. The Blue Jays have won 2 games in a row against the Pirates, and that's allowed them to gain some ground on the Yankees. They're now 1 game back of the Yankees for first place with a 44-33 record. The Rays are 37-41, 8.5 games back. They won today. The Red Sox have lost 4 games in a row, their last 2 to the Cubs. They're 35-42, 10 games back. And the Orioles are 34-43, 11 games back, and they lost today. In the American League Central, the Minnesota Twins still have the best record in baseball, and they've beaten the Yankees twice in a row. They're 55-23, and they're at the top of the AL Central. The White Sox are in second place with a 46-31 record. They're 8.5 games back. They've lost 2 in a row. The Indians are 44-34, 11 games back. They've won 4 games in a row. They're in third place. The Tigers are 30-46, 24 games back. And the Royals are 26-52, 29 games back of the Twins for first place. In the American League West, the Oakland Athletics are 48-29. They're at the top of the division, though they've lost 2 in a row. And they lost 2 in a row to the Astros, who are in second place. They've gained some ground on the A's. They're 43-32, now 4 games back of first place. The Angels are 37-39, 10.5 games back. They've won 3 games in a row. The Rangers are 30-48. They've lost 3 in a row. They're 18.5 games back. And the Mariners still in last place. They're 27-51, 21.5 games back, though they won today. The wildcard standings look like this. The White Sox have the top spot. They're 46-31. The Blue Jays and the Astros are tied for the second wildcard spot. They're the same amount of games back, though they have a different record. The Indians are a half game back. The only other American League team in contention for a wildcard spot, they're 44-34. And every other team in the American League has a winning percentage under 500 and is at least 6.5 games back of that second wildcard spot. In the National League East, the Washington Nationals are 45-31. They're still at the top of this division. The Marlins have lost 2 games in a row. That's caused them to fall back. They're now 2 games back of the Nationals for first place with a 43-33 record. The Braves are 40-36. They lost today. They're 5 games back. The Phillies are 35-40, 9.5 games back. And the Mets still in last place with a 33-43 record. They're 12 games back of the Nationals in first place. In the National League Central, the St. Louis Cardinals are 44-32, still the only team in the National League Central with a winning percentage over 500. The Cardinals are also on an 8-game winning streak, and they've won 9 of their last 10 games. The Cubs are 37-40, 7.5 games back of the Cardinals for first place. The Brewers are 8.5 games back with a 35-40 record. The Reds are 32-45, they're 12.5 games back. And the Pirates are on a 4-game losing streak, and it burns a little worse because they haven't reached 30 wins yet. They're almost there. They have a 29-46 record. In the National League West, the Los Angeles Dodgers still at the top. They're 51-26, and they broke a losing streak after beating the Tigers today. So they're now at 51 wins, not at 50 anymore. The Diamondbacks are 43-34. They're 8 games back. They won today. The Padres have won 2 in a row. They beat the Rockies today. They're 43-35, 8.5 games back. And then the 2 outliers in the division. The Colorado Rockies are 30-46. They're 20.5 games back. They've lost 6 games in a row. And the Giants have won 2 in a row. They're 29-47, 1 win away from 30 now, and they're 21.5 games back of the Dodgers for first place. And the National League wildcard standings look like this. The Marlins have the first spot by a half game. They're 43-33. The Diamondbacks a half game back of that first wildcard spot with a 43-34 record. The Padres are a half game back of the Diamondbacks with a 43-35 record. Then you have the Braves still relatively in contention, not close, but 2.5 games back. They're still within reach. And every other team in the National League has a winning percentage under 500 and is at least 6 games back of that second wild card spot. And looking at league leaders, starting with batting average leaders in the American League, Miguel Cabrera still at the top with a 363 batting average. Carlos Santana second best with a 350, and Miguel Andujar at a 344. He's third best. In the National League, Paul Goldschmidt still at the top with a 374 average. David Dahl second best with a 353, and Ronald Acuna Jr. is third best with a 340. Hits leaders in the American League, Miguel Andujar is at 109. Miguel Cabrera, second best with 106. And there's a two-way tie for third best. J.D. Martinez and D.J. LeMahieu each have 104. In the National League, Jonathan Villar is at 111. Paul Goldschmidt second best with 104. And Ronald Acuna Jr. rounds out the top 3 with 96. At bat leaders in the American League, DJ LeMahieu has 320, which is the most in the AL. In the National League, Jonathan Villar has the most with 327. And it's not close. The next best is Ozzie Albies with 304 at bats. Doubles leaders in the American League, Anthony Rendon has 28, Giancarlo Stanton has 25, and Jose Abreu has 24. In the National League, Jonathan Villar is at 35, Christian Yelich 8 behind him with 27, and Ketel Marte rounds out the top 3 with 24. Triples leaders in the American League, Jose Altuve is at the top with 6. Adalberto Mondesi second best with 5. And then Whit Merrifield, Adam Eaton, Derek Fisher, Stephen Piscotty, Eddie Rosario, Max Kepler, and Miles Straw all tied for third best with 4. In the National League, Jonathan Villar leads with 9 triples. Victor Robles second best with 6. And Hunter Pence and Chris Bryant are third best. They each have 5. Home run leaders in the American League, still a 3-way tie for the top spot. Lourdes Gurriel Jr., J.D. Martinez, and Justin Upton all have 25. In the National League, Ronald Acuna Jr. is up to 30, Paul Goldschmidt's at 27, and Christian Yelich rounds out the top 3 with 19. RBI leaders in the American League, Lourdes Gurriel Jr. has 72, and there's a 2-way tie for second best. Jorge Soler and Chris Davis each have 68. In the National League, Paul Goldschmidt has 75, Cody Bellinger the next best with 59, and Christian Yelich third best with 58. Run scored leaders in the American League, Yohan Moncada, J.D. Martinez, and Marcus Semien all have the most amount of runs scored in the AL with 59. In the National League, Ronald Acuna Jr. has the top spot with 66. Stolen base leaders in the American League, Adalberto Mondesi has 19. 3-way tie for second best. Whit Merrifield, D. Gordon, and Malik Smith all have 14. In the National League, Starling Marte has 28. Trailed by Trey Turner. Turner just one shy of Marte's total with 27. And Jonathan Villar above 20. He's at 21. He rounds out the top 3. Walks leaders in the American League, Alex Bregman and Shin-Soo Choo tied for the top spot with 51. In the National League, Mookie Betts and Rhys Hoskins tied for number 1 with 53. On-base percentage leaders in the AL, Miguel Cabrera has the highest with a 433. Carlos Santana second best with a 431. Alex Bregman slightly below Santana's total. He's also at a 431, but third best in the AL. In the National League, Paul Goldschmidt's at a 470 on-base percentage. Christian Yelich second best with a 427. And Ronald Acuna Jr. rounds out the top 3 with a 425. Slugging percentage leaders in the American League, Josh Donaldson's at a 653, J.D. Martinez second best with a 641, and Yohan Moncada third best with a 638. In the National League, Paul Goldschmidt has a 748, Ronald Acuna Jr. second best with a 741, and Christian Yelich rounds out the top 3 with a 671. OPS leaders, on base plus slugging percentage in the American League. Josh Donaldson has the highest with a 1.062. In the National League, Paul Goldschmidt has the highest with a 1.218. Moving on to pitcher leaderboards, starting with wins leaders in the American League. Kenta Maeda and Hyunjin Ryu each have 9 wins. Jake Odorizzi and Carlos Carrasco are tied for third best on this list with 8. In the National League, Walker Buehler has 11. Steven Strasburg, Madison Bumgarner, Jimmy Nelson, Jack Flaherty, and Robbie Ray are all tied for second best with 8 wins on the year. Losses leaders in the American League, Chris Bassett and Kenta Maeda still undefeated on the mound. In the National League, Carlos Martinez has the least amount of losses. He has 1 on the season. Saves leaders in the American League, Liam Hendricks has 28, Brad Hand with 27, and there's a two-way tie for third. Michael Givens and Roberto Ozuna each have 23 saves. In the National League, Giovanni Gallegos has the most with 27, and Craig Kimbrell and Kenley Jansen are tied for second best with 26. ERA leaders in the American League, Kenta Maeda has the lowest with a 2.31, Jordan Zimmerman second best with a 2.61, and Jake Odorizzi at a 2.76, good for third best. In the National League, Marcus Stroman's at a 1.99, Walker Buehler second best with a 2.25, and Carlos Martinez third best with a 2.34. Home runs allowed among American League pitchers, Mike Minor, Gio Gonzalez, and Brad Peacock have all allowed the least amount of home runs with 7 among American League pitchers, and in the National League, Garrett Richards has allowed the least amount with 4 on the year. Shutout leaders in the American League, Garrett Cole and Masahiro Tanaka are at the top. They have the most shutouts with 3 on the year. In the National League, Jacob deGrom has 3 shutouts, and there's a 4-way tie for second best. Aaron Nola, Zach Wheeler, Merrill Kelly, and Walker Buehler all tied for second best with 2 shutouts this season. Strikeout leaders in the American League, Garrett Cole has the most with 131. Lucas Giolito and Carlos Carrasco second best with 118. In the National League, Clayton Kershaw has 131. Steven Strasburg second best with 130. And Robbie Ray is third best with 120. Complete games thrown among American League pitchers, Garrett Cole and Masahiro Tanaka still at the top with 3 complete games. Aaron Savali and Jake Odorizzi tied for third best with 2. In the National League, Jacob deGrom, Aaron Nola, and Zach Wheeler occupy the first 3 spots, but they're all tied for the league best with 3 complete games this season. Innings pitched leaders in the American League, Hyunjin Ryu has 109, which is the most. In the National League, Clayton Kershaw has 111, which is the most in all of baseball. Walks allowed among American League pitchers, Carlos Carrasco has allowed the least amount of walks with 14. In the National League, Brett Anderson has allowed the least amount with 19. Whip leaders in the American League, Carlos Carrasco is at a 105 whip, Jake Odorizzi second best with a 107, Dylan Bundy and Hyunjin Ryu each have a 108. They're separated by a few insignificant figures you can't see, but Bundy third best and Hyunjin Ryu fourth best. In the National League, Aaron Nola has the lowest whip with a 1. Marcus Stroman second best with a 101, and Clayton Kershaw rounds out the top 3 with a 105. Pitching war leaders in the American League, Shane Bieber has the highest with a 2.7. Carlos Carrasco second best with a 2.5. Jake Odorizzi and Masahiro Tanaka each have a 2.4. They're 3 and 4 on this list. In the National League, Clayton Kershaw has a 2.8. Robbie Ray second best with a 2.6. Steven Strasburg also has a 2.6, but he's third best in the NL. And batting war leaders in the American League, Marcus Semien has the highest with a 5.2. Yohan Moncada second best with a 4.6. DJ LeMahieu has a 4.5, as does Alex Bregman. They all make up the top 4 on this leaderboard. And in the National League, Ronald Acuna Jr. has a WAR of 6. Paul Goldschmidt second best with a 5.2, and Christian Yelich third best. He's also at a 5.2, just slightly lower than Goldschmidt's. These have been your game recaps, standing updates, and league leaders from Saturday, June the 20th, 2020. I'm Nicholas Callis. You've been watching Major League Baseball's Virtual Network.